So now let's look at a declarative example of, you work in a user story and kind of what the process is going to be. It's very similar to the programmatic one, but we're going to be looking at it specifically for a declarative task here. So we're going to go ahead and, we've looked at this. We've got two branches here. We had a third one, but that one was taken care of by the last video's pull request. So we're going to look at specifically what we're going to do here. We're going to jump into VS Code. Inside VS Code, you will notice that I am on that old branch for that other user story. I need to make a new branch, so we're going to follow that same process we did in the other one. I'm going to click, I'm going to go check out Origin Release 1.0 because I am going to be working off of that. You will notice that I have two things that need to be updated. A couple different ways I can do that. I can do git pull, and that's going to pull down those changes. You can see it updated there, or I could just click on the little refresh button right here, and it'll synchronize those changes. It'll pull that down. Now that I have release 1.0 down here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new feature branch. Right, create a new branch from. This is going to be feature. All right, and again, this is going back to the same release branch. So we got the 1.0 in there, so we know which release branch this is tied to. And then we also have the user story there. I'm going to create it based off of the origin, so make sure we pull down the most up-to-date there. And we're going to go ahead and get into the org and begin working. So this is a declarative task, so we're going to work on this inside the org, and then we're going to have to pull those changes down, pull that difference down. So I'm going to come over here and click on the gear, and I'm going to edit page. I'm going to add this component. My task in this user story is to add that component to the actual page. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to find it here. I'm going to drag and drop it onto this Flexi page. You can see it's got the new updated title. So we've got that there. We've got it set up. Hip, hip, hooray. I'm going to save this. And this is the homepage default, right? That's that Flexi page that we're looking at. Homepage default. And there it is. So now it is up on the page. This is exactly what I needed to do for the declarative task. But now I need to go ahead and take that and put it into the Git repo. Now, when working with sandboxes or in this case, a Trailhead org, it's not a Scratch org. So I do have this handy org browser on my extensions over here. So if I click on this, once it's done refreshing, I'll actually be able to scroll down and check out that work. Flexi pages, we got homepage default, and I'm actually going to pull this down by clicking retrieve source. You will notice it added it in the source control. We do have it changed. If I click on that, we'll actually see the difference. It wasn't there before, and now it has all of these things here. If I had it previously there, when I pull down those changes, it'll just be an update here. I also, if I had it previously, I wouldn't have to use this likely. I could actually come over here and right click and retrieve source from org. So we're going to go ahead and play with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this in here. Let's say I did my work. So added LWC to homepage. Send that comment in there. I'm not going to publish that quite yet. Go back to the org, and let's say I needed to, oops, I forgot to do something. Let's go back in, let's edit the page. And we're going to add, let's go ahead and add the chatter feed over here. Okay, added the chatter feed over there. That's what I'm supposed to do also. I forgot to do that. I added this LWC. Now I've added the chatter feed. Let's go ahead and save that. Go back over to the page. Now the home page matches the mockup that was done by the UI team. I've got it. Let's go back over to VS Code and let's pull in those most up-to-date changes. So because I already have it here, I can actually right-click, retrieve source from org. And if I go back over here on my source control, you will notice that I do have a difference. If I click on that, I will get this working tree, and it will show me the difference that was made. And you can see the chatter feed, that's what it's called, force exposed feed. And that this is the chatter feed that I have, and I've added that on here. So now that I have that change, I noticed that. Let's go ahead and add our message. All right. Oh, I forgot to stage it. It's reminding me. Yes, I would like to stage it and commit it. All right, so now that I have both of those, I have it, again, checking to make sure that it's in the org and it's inside of Git. So we have it currently in our Git branch, and I'm going to publish this branch. Before I do any do any pull requests or any of that, I want to make sure that I check to see if I have anything that conflicts with stuff above. Right? So if someone had already been working on something, they added that page and they put that in there, I want to make sure that if there's anything that's done, I've checked it out on mine. So I'm going to type in git merge origin / release / 1.0. And that's that. I'm just pulling down the most up-to-date changes from that release to see if there's any differences there and see what happens. And so I'm going to do that. Oh, already up to date. So I don't have any, there's no changes that need to be coming in. We're good to go. And so now I can go back into Git and I can create a pull request. So you will see 1.2.0, I could do compare and pull request here, or I can click on pull request here, new pull request, set it up. I'm going to go into release 1.0 and I'm coming from my feature branch. You'll see both of those commits that were there. You'll see what I added. So I added that whole thing right there. If I look at this commit here, it'll show me just the change from the previous. The first one was obviously bringing the whole thing in. So if I look at that commit, all right, let's go back. And I'm going to create a pull request. I've got my template. I'm going to fill it out. Now that I've filled this out, I'm good to go. If I need to add any reviewers, I can click on add reviewers. I can create the pull request. I can see that I only changed one file, which is correct. I've got my commits, and I have all that set up.